back after a little bit of a hiatus. I'm allowed to take a week off, right? Fuck you. I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not T.O. Vaughn. I'm not Bobby Lee. I'm certainly not fucking Tom Segura. I think I've been, doing a pretty good fucking job. Not to toot my own horn. But I've been pretty consistent, right? For any of you sad motherfuckers out there listening to a bum like me. But I get it, I'm King Bum. Now, I don't want to get too philosophical today, right? I want to try and keep it lighthearted. A lot of shit's been going on. I think everybody in the world has taken some time to process their shit. Because it almost seems like, for once, there isn't an insane bombardment of news. I mean, everybody's still fucking hung up about the Epstein files. Not that I'm saying that's not worth looking into. I'm just saying everybody's still circling that drain. You got P. Diddy getting his verdict finally. Who knows what the fuck really happened there? If he was Blackstein, the Black Jeffrey Epstein. Or just another man caught up in the game. It's getting really difficult. And soon enough, you're not going to be able to tell. The lines are going to kind of blur. And I'm not saying this because I'm proud of it. It's just, look at AI. Look at what people are able to do right now. It's insane how good some of this shit looks. The cleanness of these videos. And even Trump, whether it's him or on the official White House X or ICE, posting these memes. I still remember when they got in on the Studio Ghibli trend. And it's just like, at a certain point, what the fuck are you doing and what is going on anymore? Like, that's an insane thing for me to wrap my head around, that in 2025, I get to see now this new video. It doesn't seem like a lot of people are talking about it. People are taking it like it's a joke, and I don't have a horse in this race. It doesn't really matter to me. Maybe that's not the best way to put it. I care about the outcome. I definitely care. That's why I live the way I do within my means. I don't bombard other people with my shit. I just try to do what I can in the realm I occupy without disturbing anyone else's. But when you've got Trump posting this meme, this little AI video edit of him throwing a red hat, which we all know what the red hats are, and on the desk in the Oval Office it says Trump 2028. And we all know, like, I don't want to go down this path like I'm a fucking mega patriot. It's not like that. But we all know you can't run for 3 terms. And this guy is going to try and do it. He's going to be very gung-ho and, use legalese and try and find a way to run. That now, none of this means that he would even win. And I kind of want people to understand that there's a difference from the polarization you see online about a lot of politics in general versus the reality of when you speak to people in your community and ask them how they feel about what they're living in. Most people in my region are not fucking with this. I mean, I'm talking all around. I haven't met very many satisfied people. And this is including people who were backing him the first time around and were satisfied. Even just people with simple expectations like the cost of materials for building going down, lumber for contractors, so that they can make better margins on the projects they have to sweat and bleed for. And while everybody's getting squeezed, we all keep picking and plotting against each other. And it's like, come on, do you really need that extra little bit from that grandma on the roofing job you did? Or, you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't we be trying to figure out ways where we do make enough to live happy, and we don't necessarily need a new boat or a new Tesla every 3 months to justify our existence or our happiness? Isn't that, I don't know, limited? Because at that point, you're not even fucking happy. It takes you getting something to feel anything. Because you can't create anything yourself. And that's something I will say to my own benefit. At least I'm here on this podcast, for better or worse, trying to have a good time with you motherfuckers, right? And you don't have to listen. You can turn this shit off immediately. And I'm not getting thousands of views. The plan never was to. My hope, if you want me to be serious for a minute, because I'm relatively close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I figured, okay, if I come back to YouTube and start releasing consistently, maybe I'll get around 700 to 1K. A lot of my uploads that I used to do were anywhere from a couple thousand, and I'm not talking about the clips that I would make for, if Tim Dillon, I saw something that needed to be out there, that needed to be focused on. I'm not talking about clips like that where I get 330,000 views. I'm talking about my little clips, where, sometimes I get 6K, or I've had the ability to pull views before, but, a podcast is a big commitment, and most people just do not have that focus or patience, and you can kind of see it. The writing is on the wall that for a while the reason why podcasting became so successful, not that it didn't exist before. I mean, Rogan was doing it for a long time, but Rogan obviously used the Spotify deal to pivot himself in a way that he could get out of whatever he was stuck in, California-wise, and make a club, because he could have made a club in California. But instead of doing that, he left. He went somewhere else to kind of do it all over again on his own way. And in a way, not only did he save his podcast by doing that, but he also expanded his comedy business in a way that he can shape the futures of young comedians. He gets to be a part of that. He's now entering the phase of life where he got to run around and be the killer. He got to make people laugh. He got to have a good time. And now he gets to be like Mitzi, you know. He's running the mothership. And it's so fitting that this is where he's ended up. You know, it has a conspiratorial name, the mothership, aliens, blah, blah, blah. And if I'm not mistaken, he doesn't even really believe in aliens that much anymore. Like, he wants to, but he doesn't know if that's government disinformation. A lot of people don't. Nobody knows what the truth is anymore. You can't even have hope in life because it's all disinformation and you have to fact check it on Google. These fucking phones have made people unable to believe in the wonder of the universe. They're very stuck on their device. And I've gotten a lot better at not letting this consume my entire life. I really have. There's so much beauty out here. I mean, something as simple as watching the leaves change color off my deck. That shit is magical. Every day you get to see the transformation go a little further. Get to watch a sunset, sunrise, on a beautiful day, go out on a lake or something. You know, there's a lot of things to do in life. It's not just looking at your phone and doom scrolling. But hey, I mean, some people, it takes you a long fucking time to figure it out. And then I see other people and I really admire what they're doing. People in their late 20s or their early 30s who they have their whole fucking shit together. And even there's some moms out there, single, with a kid, and they've got everything they need. Nice and neat. Career, not just a job at some fucking restaurant giving you fries and a burger with your fat fucking ass. And then you don't even tip. You fuck. No. Real independent woman shit. And a lot of guys won't touch those kind of women because they got baggage or whatever, you know, a kid. Well, you're right and you're wrong, you know. It is unfortunate that somebody tries and it doesn't work out and you have a bundle of love that kind of indefinitely chains you to each other. It doesn't mean you have to be with each other forever, though. It just means that at one point in life, there was a time where you both peaked in terms of how you felt about each other, and the physical representation of that was you committing to having a child. There's a lot of people who have children and don't stay together. There's a lot of guys who think the goal in life is to fuck as many women as you can, come inside them if they let you, and see how many kids you end up with. Guys just out there blind firing. You don't know whether to admire that or be disgusted. Because on another hand, that's just a guy walking around with like 300 to 500 different bitches' pussy juices all absorbed into his cock. How much fucking bacteria and bugs, and you don't know if that bitch was making brownies over there with yeast, and you don't know. You know what that guy's shit has turned into. Mutate and turn it into a new X-Man. The X-Man with the fucking degenerated dick. That's his power. He just pulls his pants down and the villains put their hands up and willingly surrender. Oh, no. It's, it's... It's zombie dick. We surrender. But yeah, it's just... I don't know. There's so many people that have seemed to have lost the fucking plot. You know, you're more obsessed with protocol, with process, than actually getting down to the nitty-gritty to fix something. I got a fucking funny story for you guys. You'll probably laugh at this, because it's my stupidity on one hand, because I'm willing to try and trust in the system once in a while, and give it the old, college go, the college try, a fair go. Just, why not? Be polite, a little chensu, and... I switched phone companies. I'm giving this new company a chance. I still have my old SIM card. So if I want to stay with them, I can. And I'm thinking about, staying with this new company now because I finally got it figured out. But before I had gotten it all figured out, I was having a very major issue, and I just wasn't getting any help. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. And if you keep having these kind of things pop up, let me assure you that there's not really a solution to it. I'd love to sit here and pretend that there's a quick fix for people's willingness to help you in situations, but there isn't. People are either going to fucking help you or they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself. And I won't say this company's name, right? Let's try to keep our shit clear or whatever. I don't know what all the rules are, so I'm just going to put a minor disclaimer. And this is going forward. I don't even think I need to put this on every episode, but, this is a comedy podcast. I do a lot of satire. I'll represent opinions or thoughts that I don't necessarily believe in, but I like to explore them. I used to refer to myself as the Patrice O'Neal of gaming because I come from a gaming background. I no longer want to participate in that realm because as you get older, not everybody wants to do that, And I'm not trying to be in my 40s or 50s still being a gamer guy or a streamer on Twitch. I think that's some very low-hanging fruit, end-of-the-road shit. There's better uses of your time than something like that. So, let me just make that clear. It's like, I'm here to make myself laugh, and if you laugh too, that's great. But I'm really just trying to say the shit that's funny to me. Because that's how Patrice was too. His goal wasn't to be your puppet, and he wasn't trying to puppeteer anyone else himself. That's something I truly admire about that man, is he understood what it meant, as he called it, to be righteous to yourself. And I do appreciate his interpretation of righteous, because righteous doesn't mean right. Righteous means you are true to your commitment. In the context of what he believed, so long as he was righteous in his delivery and it wasn't a malicious intent to harm anybody with what he was saying, he had every right to say it, believe it, and you didn't have the right to take that away from him. He would fight to the death for that. He took a lot of L's for that, and he didn't really have a lot of people step up and say, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." He didn't have that gigantic moment the way you see other people when they're interfered with get commentary. And it's not the same when you see a guy like Bill Burr get shit on by Crack Amico for going to do Arab Money. He fat Joe'd you, dude. Or is that Busta Rhymes? It's been too long. I think it's Busta. But you let him do you like that, bro. And you did yourself like that, player. With Pete Davidson, the guy who talks shit about Louis C.K. in his stand-up. I felt bad that the bad friends went. And I'm not over here calling Santino and Bobby sellouts. But you get a very different version of Santino when he's on Bad Friends versus the episode of Rogan that he just did. You know, he's very quiet, he's very, oh yes, and there was even a point during that conversation about an hour and a half in where Santino's trying to bring up something relevant to the conversation. I think they were talking about an animal or something, and a moose, how beautiful they are. And Rogan just immediately cuts him off to look at a picture of a random moose and be like, yeah, see, look at that fucking thing. Isn't it just, man, isn't that thing just wild? It's like, yeah, Joe, it is. But Andrew was trying to tell you something, like a personal story. And instead of Santino trying to continue to tell the story after that, he just completely ate it. He was like, no offense, but I saw you definitely being a compliant guest. It didn't seem like you were there to just be yourself, to be you, to cut loose. And I don't know why certain people feel that way when they go on Rogan's podcast, because you and Bobby together are amazing. But when I think about you guys being willing to go out there and do that with this other group of people, it does kind of makes you feel a little weird, right? And I've gotten way far away from this story. Don't worry, I'm still getting back to the main point. But I felt like I had to venture in and kind of talk about this. You got all this crazy shit going on in the world. And I'm glad they enjoyed that comedy festival, but at the end of the day, I think it was a fucking mistake. I think it was a power grab, and you showed how easily we can be bought, that we have a price, and it's not as high as most people think. That our integrity, our sense of what's good and bad, we're willing to throw our lot in with whoever, so long as the price is right. And I guess my only problem with that kind of behavior from these individuals is that I never took y'all as mercenaries. That's not the way that I look at comedians. I don't see you as mercenaries for hire. I see you as talent. Performers, sometimes poets, occasionally activists if you're lucky enough to be like Carlin and have the opportunity. But no, some of you are mercenaries for hire. And that is the unfortunate part about being a mercenary, is that sometimes you fight against the people that you used to work for. And that's how a lot of people feel. And this will all blow over, but I assure you that you have lost a certain portion of your fan base, which you'll probably say, go fuck yourself. Fucking prick. Who gives a fuck? I've got $2 billion. I don't give a fuck. Well, maybe you're right, man. You're at that age where this is probably your last samurai. This was your last chance. And if you had to sell out, the money had to be good enough. And you just said, fuck it. I'm already getting shit on. They're making fun of my wife. They're telling me I'm soft now because of the black curse. You ever notice that anytime there's an interracial relationship, there's some stigma around it? Because they do the same thing to black men that have white women or light-skinned women as their wife. Not to dog on Cat Williams. Cat is the GOAT, but he brought that up. That all these famous black men who have their brains tainted are with white women. Well, I mean, Jay-Z and Beyonce are together, bro. I know she's not black as coal, but what are you trying to say? That she's not black enough to qualify to kind of edge out that equation somewhat? It just gets a little arbitrary at a certain point, you know? You know, motherfuckers gotta find something better. Really. Because it's not because he's with a black woman. That's not why his comedy is softer or whatever you want to say. Chef and I talked about it a couple episodes back. He's still the same guy. But my eyes are a little open on him. Because everybody respected him, you know, for the rant. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. The bell. Your hero is from a guy in a movie. You got a statue of him. You have a real fucking legend who lives here, and instead you got a statue of a guy from a fucking movie. That whole rant was great. And people believed in you. They felt something from that, man. But going over to a country where there's all this animosity, and again, people are people, right? You know, they deserve to have comedy and laugh and do all this shit, but I don't know, man. I guess maybe it is racially insensitive to a degree, but I respect the people that said no and turned it down because they knew it was just a bad look for them. I think Shane is one of those people, right? He turned it down and spoke out about it. And it's like, most people are like, yeah, good for you, bro, but he knew that's what he needed to do. If he was Bill Burr, he probably takes that. If Shane Gillis is Bill Burr's age and has done what Bill Burr has done, Shane Gillis probably takes that deal. And I want you to think about that. That sometimes people play the game the way it's meant to be played. I love Shane. I think he's talented. Tires was meaningful to me. Even though it's just a goofy show like many shows, and there's not much in terms of set pieces or whatever you want to say, the stories are just, you know, regular everyday stories. That's what makes it work. He makes it work. He found the right crew of people that you're not really familiar with, and then a couple people you do know, like Stav. And I don't like really saying Mr. Flagrant's name, but you know what I'm talking about. He had the right ingredients, sugar, spice, and everything ice, and he's Chemical X. And he brought some power to that fucking show. It makes you care about the characters. But something tells me there's a mercenary in there, that he knows this. He knows that's how to pull on the heartstrings of people, and the way he delivers his comedy. Everybody's a tactician. It doesn't really seem like you've got a lot of guys willing to put it all on the line every time, win or lose. Not a lot of Patrice's left. Anyway, so I switched to this new company. It was a fucking pain in the ass to do. I mean, I almost talked myself out of it. I was like, man, if it's this much trouble, imagine trying to get anything resolved. And I was like, no, it's a good deal, fuck it. So, get the SIM card finally, put it in. Phone service works, data doesn't work. I'm pretty good with technology, so I try to change the APN settings and I mean, the network operator wasn't even showing the correct one. It was very weird. Call customer service, getting hung up on a bunch, treated like shit, long holds. Can't get to a supervisor because they're scared to transfer you because they think they're going to get fired. And then you eventually do get to a supervisor, but the guy's so fucking stupid, the solution he suggests, you know yourself, isn't the correct solution. I had this guy try and tell me I need to get a new SIM card sent to me because my phone wasn't registered to the SIM card, and that's why it was doing this, and that I couldn't even get a refund. Because even though they were having some kind of network outage or some other bullshit, I was told that in reality, the reality of the situation was that I had already been an active customer for too long to even cancel and get a refund. But I had just gotten a SIM card, and it made no sense, right? That is just one person's bad interpretation of the company's policy and procedures, which I couldn't give a fuck less about, man. Some guy making minimum wage in a third world country who don't give a fuck about me. He's just trying to get off work and go jerk off to Pornhub. And here I am, trying to get something resolved, and I can't. Because this guy wants to tell me I'm wrong, and then hangs up on me. So I kind of give up on it, and on and off, I'm getting the data to work on my phone. So I know that isn't the issue. I try again yesterday, and this bitch on the phone has the nerve to tell me, well, what could be happening, and I just want to prepare you for this, is that your device could be partially incompatible because it's old. Now look, I'm not going to tell you guys my phone, right? But I promise you, I don't have a Stone Age phone. I don't have a flip phone. I don't have none of that stupid ass shit. I don't have an S25 Ultra either. But if I want to hop on COD Mobile or any of these new games and play it maxed out, like the new Destiny, I can do that. I can game on my phone, no problem. So I have no issues on another network. This network technically will occasionally lease towers from them, or however they explained it, so there should be a compatibility that works. I shouldn't have this issue. And I was just insulted that, I don't want to call it stupidity, but that people are willing to try and suggest something terrible with no research behind it, and they're just guessing instead of wanting to take the time to figure out the correct solution. And I knew what the correct solution was. I needed the correct APN settings for my device. And she ended up hanging up on me. Well, after that, I went online, because I have Wi-Fi, and I found out, after rooting around, because I had tried doing it, just couldn't find the right stuff, I found the correct settings. And now my phone works perfectly. Now, it's my fucking day off, so I have zero plans on calling them or talking about it. Because why would I let them steal my time? They get paid for the privilege to fuck with our lives. Do you understand that? These motherfuckers are paid for the privilege to laugh at you or put you on hold. And they do it knowingly, that they can get away with it, that they can abuse the system and take advantage of people who just want fucking help. And it's so easy to help instead of being a dickhead. But the bare minimum is too much for certain people at times. It's fucking unreal. Yeah. I solved my own problem. Which is why I say I was stupid for even thinking for a moment that I could believe in this dumb fucking system and that I would get any significant help from people when I have to take care of this shit myself. And that goes for a lot of you motherfuckers out there. You gotta start realizing now, somebody else is not gonna do it for you. You gotta do it, homie. And I'm just as fucking sick and tired of having to do it myself. But guess what? When you do it yourself, you know at the end of the day that it's good to go. There's no second guessing or questioning. Well, did they do this or did they forget to do that? I'm getting frustrated with mechanics at the end of the day because they don't want to let you watch them work, which I think that that's against the law, but whatever. And then when there's issues, you don't know what actual work was done. You can just say the job that was performed, but you don't know how the job was performed. This happens all the time in the medical field. You know what I'm talking about. Going for a surgery, right? And what happens? The doctor fucking looks the wrong way, and a stitch gets left inside of you, and they sew you up, or... I mean, it happens. And then people get sickness or poisoned, and they're wondering what the fuck's going on, and they can't figure it out. People die from shit like that over a mistake, over a simple, casual mistake where people will tell you it can't happen. Can't is a very strong word. I don't think you should ever tell people what can or can't happen. You should tell people what could happen. But even telling people what couldn't happen is, that's a gamble, because you really don't know how that's going to play out, right? And this isn't me trying to Mother Goose anybody or act like I know better. I'm not up on my mountain playing God. All I'm saying is it's a little more complex than face value, right? You have to take shit one step at a time. And most people don't have the fucking patience for that anymore. And I get it. You know, we're in a fast, hustle-bustle life. There's a lot of shit going on. It's hard to want to slow down and not be upset about everything. It is. I totally get it. Who wants to be upset? Not me. I fucking don't. Every day I wake up and I want to have a good day. I don't want to get pissed off at nothing. I want my car to start. I want to be able to drive down the road. I want to not get into an accident with an animal or another fucking person in their vehicle. I want to be able to get my food and it be the correct order and nobody spit in it or told me to go fuck myself. I don't want to be stuck in traffic. I don't want to get sick. There's a lot of things I don't want to have happen. But if it happens, the trick is how you handle it. I know that sounds so fucking simple and rudimentary. Just because it sounds like some basic bitch shit doesn't mean it is. Now, I get it. Sometimes it's easier to just tune it all out. Say fuck it. That's not accomplishing anything. And if you feel that way, you probably need to switch it up. And there's nothing wrong with switching it up. I've had a lot of major switch-ups in this last year. Change has always been a constant in my life, but this has probably been the most change I've had in such a short amount of time. Now, I'm not mad at the change. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Change is a part of life, people. We're all getting older. You can revel in your youth for a little while, but every day you're a little older. You'll never get the you of yesterday back. That doesn't have to be a dire thing. You can't be distraught about life every single fucking day. You deserve to be happy too. Now, don't be selfish, but you deserve to be happy too. You got to be willing to go out and get that happiness at the end of the day. Not many people are going to be willing to give it to you. That is one thing I'm starting to notice. As funny as this is going to sound, I've had more success with that mentality across the board with everything. I mean, with women, with money, with personal endeavors, period. By being very about my shit. You don't want to make it seem like you're weak or that you can be taken advantage of. Don't give people too much information. You know, I love haggling with people. I'll be honest. I like getting a deal on shit. Who doesn't? Oh, I love a deal. But at the end of the day, you gotta know the room. And I've had a hell of a lot more no's than I've had yeses. But that hasn't stopped me from asking. And I never feel bad. You have some people that will make you feel like shit for giving them an offer that they are free to refuse. They're not forced to accept the offer. If they think it's a bad offer, they don't have to say something shitty about your offer. It's a fucking offer. You never know what people got going on. Sometimes people need to move on something. They've been waiting around for weeks and it hasn't sold, and here you come and it's not really what they want for it, but it's something where it could keep sitting for a long time and lose more value. But you have an offer right now. Take that fucking offer. You know? Take that fucking offer. And the people that have, I mean, a lot of the shit that I have is because of that. Because I don't want to go out and spend $1,200 on a fucking phone. Of course I want one of the newest phones that exist. I don't want to spend $1,200 to get it. If I can spend like $100, $150, which to 98% of the people in the world, that's not realistic. But there's a 2% out there that plays in that realm. And I've been able to get good deals because of it. Not everybody's out to fuck you over, and not everybody needs a lot of shit to be happy. Sometimes you just catch people right place, right time. The phone I have now, which again, really good phone, eventually I'll need to upgrade, probably in 2 years. But I got this phone because the person who had it was sitting in a drawer, and they had switched. They went back to Apple. And, you know, I like, they said no at first. I was just like, hey, that's okay. Look, just an offer. I'm not a rich dude. This is what I could afford. And that just, He was like, you know what, actually, I will do it. You never know, guys. You never fucking know what people are gonna do. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of good fucking deals. People want value in life. I do, at least. And you can't always find that, but you do the best you can. And again, I'm no better than anybody else, okay? Don't let me fool you. Don't let me sit up here on my fucking high throne talking down all you peasants like you can suck my dick. Oh! That's not what this is. Okay? Because I want to make it clear. I love pretty much everybody. As long as you're not some egregious, horrible monster who's done felonious things, we'll be okay. But there's levels to shit. People have their own stories. The guy I've been trying to get onto the podcast for a minute, he's had one hell of a fucking life. He's my best friend. Nobody makes me laugh more than this retard. He's so fucking stupid. And I feel bad for a lot of the shit he's got going on, but at the end of the day, I can't do nothing about it. That's his path he's got to walk. You know, it's his story. All you can do sometimes is hope people make it out on the other side better for what they went through. Don't be a hater. Try to be supportive of people's shit. Why is it that so many people only have that judgment, lashing out nature at the end of the day for people? You spend all day having to have these false interactions with people. You just don't put any heart into it. And then, what does it mean? Don't you just want to be yourself? Or are you too afraid of that? Are you terrified? Sink in to your humanity. That's been my new thing when I'm talking to people. When I can tell they're starting to go a certain way, I'm just like, if you have a soul within you, please, just help me, human to human. I don't want to pit myself against anybody. I want people to be my ally, not my enemy. For a long time, that's all I've wanted. Try to make friends, not enemies. But it's easier to make enemies. It's easier to fight. It's tough to build. Not everybody wants that equally. Some people just want to take what you can give. I'm not with that, and I'm a lot better at seeing through that kind of shit now than I ever was in the past. I can see it from a mile away. I know what kind of person you are. I know what you're angling for. And it gets old. It really does. None of it is cute or cool. It doesn't make me giggle. I think it's kind of stupid. I really do. There's so much more that you can offer the world instead of this bumfuckery, right? How many more times you gotta bang your head against the fucking wall before you realize, well, I'm banging my head against the wall, and I don't like this. I don't like it at all. Eh? How many fucking times, eh? This guy, how many times with this guy? This fucking guy. Oh! I missed you guys while I was gone. I had a personal commitment last weekend. And it's not like I have a million people checking in, so I didn't think I needed to put out a community post or whatever. And after this episode, I'm going to do a very, very low effort premium episode. It's not going to be much. We're going to talk about that shit I alluded to a couple episodes back. Might have been the first episode, actually. I don't know. They're starting to blur together already, which is fine for me. I'll be happy when we get to episode 100. That'll feel like an accomplishment. But yeah, we're gonna touch on the YouTube bullshit from like 2 years ago. Which again, just to kind of reiterate, I don't hold grudges, but as we'll go into more, and for anybody who gets to listen and cares, when you're at a certain level, when you're a certain type of player in the game, why would you ever concern yourself with people that shouldn't even be on your radar? How did I get on your radar in the first place? And why did you take the path you took instead of just reaching out to me? Because there were better ways to handle what happened. And we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to be scared. Because there's a chance I might see this motherfucker at Skankfest. And if I meet him, I'm not going to dance around who I am, because I'm just not that guy. I'm not that guy, pal. Trust me. I'm not that guy. I'm going to be real with him and say, yeah, I'm not sure if blah, 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 but because I want to figure out, do you actually have involvement with this specifically? Because then I would know that without any question, it was this. Now, if it was one of the fucking production assistants or something like that, somebody made a mistake, that's different. But I don't think it was a mistake, because you get the direct email to the person, and that means, for once, I had a celebrity's email. That felt pretty cool, to have a celebrity's personal email. Because they tell you have to reach out to them at this point to get it resolved. And I emailed twice. I got no response. I didn't even get a fuck you. And that's the kind of thing that blows your mind, is that you're relevant enough to somebody for them to fuck with your channel that's not even monetized, but you're not relevant enough to respond to the email because of the thing that you initiated. That you initiated. I didn't initiate it. It's something that you initiated, meaning you took time out of your life to do it. And now you're not even giving me the time of day to be like, yeah, we just don't like this and fuck you. But I see other people doing the same thing and not having anything done. Why is that? Like, come on. I don't want to be the bad guy in everybody's fucking narrative. So, yeah, I'd rather air out that dirty laundry, because again, I'm excited to go volunteer at Skankfest. You know, everybody collects accolades in their own way. One man's trash is another man's treasure. There's some people that would probably not think this is much to be hyped for. You're just volunteering, dude. I 100% get that. Wouldn't be my first time doing volunteer work. There's a big trade-off. I get to be a part of something that's bigger than me. I get to take pride in knowing that I helped create it. And from what I've heard, They treat their volunteer crew really good. I'm just trying to have a good time. I want a memory in my life that I can hold on to and be like, yeah, I did this at this point. That was cool. Because I've had some good ones, but I still want to make more. I'm not fucking done yet. We all gotta have a little pep in our step, right? Patreon.com/thisiscomedy. Going to be switching over to the bonus now. If you're interested, it will be uploaded. Eventually it'll go to Spotify, but because I don't have access to it yet, I can't do it. But for the time being, if you want access to the bonus content, which will be coming weekly, $5 a month. YouTube or Patreon. I do have a $1 membership option on YouTube. What do you get for $1? I'll give you one bonus every month. It'll be a bonus of my choosing, but one bonus every month for $1. Now, I might do little sketches or skits, I don't know. I'm still working it all out. I'm thinking about it. I want to give you guys stuff to laugh at. Yeah. Hope you guys had fun. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you next time.